Welcome to another episode of Google versus
Facebook.
My name is Matt Rincon.
And I'm Andres Bustamante.
In today's episode, we are going to be talking about target audiences and what that means for your business and really why you should care. So let's get right into it. Today's going to be a quick one. We're going to get right into really what a target audience is. So Andres, roll with it.
Absolutely. So audiences and a target audience specifically in marketing, it basically means people who are more likely to be interested in your brand's product or service, right? And you want to define your target audience before you do anything else, before spending any money on advertising in reality, right? And there's obviously ways that you can get audiences, and let's say your target audience to look at your product or service. You can post content organically on platforms like Instagram, right, on YouTube, obviously on your website. But if we're talking about advertising on Facebook or Google, you want to be able to create your audience within the targeting settings, right? So this is in the ad set piece of the structure of your ad campaign. And in there, you'll be able to actually define, who your audience is, the demographic, right? Their age, their ethnicity, where are they located? So this is where we start with that.
Yeah. So let me back up a little bit. So I wanted to really talk about product fit, market fit for a second, right? And so if you're creating a business, or if you already have a business and you're struggling with sales, it could be that you're not targeting the right audience.
Yes.
Okay. And so before we get into really the exactly what to do on Google or Facebook to find that audience, really what you should be doing is focusing on your product fit and your market fit. Okay. And to be able to do that, that you can really just start testing advertising. So we'll get into how to do that. But really a good exercise that you can do is creating a customer avatar. So let's chat about that for a sec. Andres, what's a customer avatar?
So basically your ideal customer, right? That's just buzzwords out there, but your ideal customer. So you want to have a little sheet. I think that's a good way to start, and really write down, describe who your ideal customer would be, right? So let's use an example, right?
Yeah.
If I sell life insurance, right, my ideal customer probably won't be a 21-year-old, right? I don't think there's any 21-year-olds that are worried about life insurance in that stage of their lives.
I don't think I was worried about anything
exactly.
like that.
Partying up, 21, drinking that beer.
Yeah, real flexible at that age too. Yeah,
exactly. So think about that when you're really defining who would be that person that needs life insurance or would want to get life insurance. Probably somebody in their 40s, 50s with a family, right? That would really, they really want to protect their family and things like that. So write down that age group, right? So anybody between the age of 40 and 60, let's say, right? So that's creating the customer avatar. Starting with the age, starting with the interests, right? They have their family, they have kids. Remember that on Facebook, you can actually target people by if they're parents. So parents of children with ages between 18 to 26, I believe. And there's different age groups that you can mess with. So that's one setting in case you didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And then on Google as well, it has similar settings as well.
Yep. And so when it comes to drawing out your customer avatar, that's also a test, right? So you may have one life insurance candidate that is a male that's 50, let's say, that lives in Michigan, that has 2 kids, and they're both in college. And you may have another individual that's a woman that maybe is 36, that just maybe had a kid. And so it really depends. And so now that we're talking about drawing out your customer avatar, this isn't Google, this isn't Facebook, this is important for your business. Okay,
in general,
so whether you're doing email marketing, whether you're doing social media marketing, whether you're doing sales at an event, what's important is that you're connecting with the right individual and that you're really not necessarily selling to them, because if it is the right connection and it is someone that fits your product, it'll be much more natural conversation, much more natural product fit for that individual.
Yeah, so the first nugget here for this segment is basically know your audience, right? Because you don't really want to be, you know, let's say if you're a musician and you sing hip hop music and then you go to a country music bar, right?
Yeah.
How would people react to your music if you go there, right? So it wouldn't make sense.
Well, that country road song now, man.
Well, all right.
Maybe.
So,
There's a little market. There's a niche right there, right?
So take the horses to the left.
Country road, man. I like that song.
True. All right. So there's some exceptions there.
Yeah.
But definitely know your audience before you start doing any type of advertising, spending on advertising.
Yep, and you can test these things organically, right? So you can go and find a competitor, go on Instagram, find a competitor, hit their followers, and start shooting them DMs with your offer, and maybe give them a coupon and see if they respond.
Yep.
And if they do, you could be onto something.
Absolutely.
So now let's get into the advertising though.
Sure.
So you had talked about Google, you had talked about Facebook.
Right.
Facebook would be, let's get into that actually.
Sure.
So now that we know, we'll stick to life insurance. We have an idea of who our customer avatar is and what that person looks like, or multiple individuals that may like our product.
Correct.
So how would we reach them in Facebook? How would we create an audience there?
Sure. So you can start. So if you're starting from zero, so I want to be real clear about something here is that there are multiple audiences. There's actually two types of audiences that you can create on Facebook. One of them is lookalike audiences, and the other one is custom audiences, right? But before you could actually even use those, you need to be able to actually have some sort of data, right? If you already have an email subscriber list, for example, you have a list of purchasers, right? Active customers, then you'd be able to use those, and we'll get those later on. But to start, if you're just starting from zero, you're gonna want to create a cold traffic campaign. So cold traffic meaning these are individuals, your target audience, right, that has never heard of you before, right? And I know you probably, if you haven't seen the other episodes, we've talked about that, you know, how to target cold traffic, different strategies for that, right? But in this case, we're just gonna kind of break it down to you. You wanna create inside the ad set of your ad campaign on Facebook, you want to create the avatar that you created, let's say on paper or wherever you have it, you want to go ahead and translate that into Facebook settings. So you put the age group, the location, and then you use Facebook's awesome interest setting, so you can actually try to reach that audience with your ad, right? So obviously at that point you would have already had defined your video or image, you know what I mean? So that would resonate with that particular person. But that's essentially what you would do to start and really start getting people to visit your website or sign up for your newsletter, let's say watch your video, message you on Facebook and things like that. And those things that they do, those actions that they take, those are engaged users at that point. So anybody that's engaged with your ad, you can actually create some audiences at that point. But that's a little bit later on. But that's essentially how you would start, is just creating a target from scratch. Target audience from scratch.
So back to life insurance. Say you've been in the life insurance business for a while, but you're just getting started doing digital marketing, and you've just had your website done and it's looking real spiffy. And you're really proud of that, because that is an important piece of this, right? Is ensuring before you advertise that you look good online. And so say you are getting traffic to that website now through an ad like Andres is mentioning. From there, what would you do? Okay, so now we created an ad targeting, let's say, women that are 36-ish that may have just had a kid for life insurance.
Okay.
And what we're doing is we're targeting them with a video ad, and we're showing that ad only in a certain area of the country, English speakers. And let's say some of the people that we showed that ad to clicked it and went to the website and learned a little bit about us. But they didn't do anything. So now I'm like, okay, well, it didn't work. What next?
Right. So basically, you take those individuals, and this is why it's very important to have analytics installed on your website and your Facebook pixel, right? So if you know what a Facebook pixel is, it's basically a measurement tool provided by Facebook, and it's completely free. And you just basically add that to your website. It's a piece of code that helps track user behavior, right? From anybody that's on Facebook and they go to your website, you'd be able to track their information and their behavior, essentially. You know, they went, what pages they visited and things like that. So with that Facebook pixel, you'd be able to go ahead and capture some data there. So if they went to your website but they didn't take any type of the desired action, then what you can do is, after you have a list of at least 100 people that visited your website, it has to be 100 people, okay? Literally, Facebook tells you, you need the audience size is too low. So it has to be at least 100 people that visited your website. You can actually go ahead and retarget these individuals with a custom audience, right? So you can upload a custom audience at that point, or you could even just do a lookalike audience from people that visited your website. But the idea is for these individuals that, let's say, you know, you served them the ad, they went to the website, but they didn't take any action. There may be something wrong with the website or something that needs to be improved. So you obviously want to make those improvements before you even try it again, because you might get the same results, right?
Yeah.
Or you can just try to segment your audiences at that point. We're sticking to the audience topic is, so let's say that 36-year-old woman may not have been that right audience. So maybe you go for, try creating an ad set, right? So you have the cold traffic campaign. So if you look at Facebook, you have the cold traffic campaign in your ad set. That's where you're creating your audiences. Let's say that's one ad set, that's one audience. You can test that 36-year-old woman who just had a kid. And then you can try, let's say, men and women that are between the ages of 45 and 55, for example. And let's say that they have kids together, right? They're parents, okay? And then they obviously have interest in like family, things like that. That would be another test. And you can do the same test and see if that particular target audience generates the results that you're looking for.
Yes. So you probably heard the word test a lot there. And so when it comes to advertising, that really is, I think, one of the biggest keys is to actually just continue to test your theories with quality.
Right.
And so what I mean by that is, let's go back to the 36-year-old woman example. Okay. So if a 36-year-old woman goes to a website that's full of 65-year-old men pictures, perhaps that's not a good experience.
Right.
And so perhaps the funnel wasn't built with all of this in mind to be able to really cater to this customer or this type of client, right?
Yeah.
And so you can really start building your funnels that way, whether it's the ad that's a woman in the ad, whether the copy is speaking to women,
right.
Whether the website experience has women in it,
yep.
right? And so these are things that you can really resonate with your customer better. And at that point, you're testing the user experience from an ad perspective, right? And really just so that the whole thing talks to each other.
Right.
I was listening to Grant Cardone yesterday, actually, and one of the things that he mentioned, and one of the things he mentioned is, remember when you're showing ads to your client, expect that they don't remember anything or that they did not read anything, and that your entire funnel needs to be consistently reminding them what the value is to continue every step of the way. And so thinking back again to that customer avatar of a 36-year-old woman who just had a child, like I said, if she sees an ad and it's, a woman with a child and speaking to women, and then she goes to a website and it's for 65-year-old men, for 63-year-old men that are about to retire, probably not the right experience. She's probably going to go to another insurance agent that maybe feels more her vibe.
Exactly.
Right? So all these psychological things really are going on. Now, of course, you do want to test more customer types. You do want to test more audiences. That would be in the ad set.
Correct.
And my nugget at this point, at this section, would be make sure you have Facebook Pixel set up if you're advertising. If you don't have that set up, you're not going to be able to do any of these things we're talking about.
Excellent.
Or even hand it off to someone correctly. To be honest with you, anything that you spend money on won't be captured. So
definitely.
Have Facebook Pixel set up and have Google Analytics set up, so that way you can actually do these things appropriately.
That's a great tip, Matt. Definitely important also for those entrepreneurs that are listening in that already have some emails, right? They already have purchasers. Let's say that you guys have done advertising before, or simply organically, right? We have clients that have already, that when we started with them, they already had a list of people that interacted with their business some way. They left their email, right? So that they obviously generated a certain level of trust where these people were given their email, and first name, last name, right? All that information. So what you want to do, if you're advertising, let's talk about Google real quick. Obviously on Facebook, we already talked about that you can upload these email lists through custom audiences, right? And you could actually title them, all right, this is my email subscriber list. This is my newsletter subscriber list, right? As long as it's at least 100 people, you'd be able to do that on Facebook. Now on Google, it's a different story. So for those that are advertising on Google, pay attention here, right? So
yeah, we've been talking about Facebook a lot, so let's switch gears.
Exactly. So Google has also the option for you to upload customer data. So it's a customer match file. Now, Google's a little bit more complex in the sense of the organization of the data, right? So they do require a certain structure, a CSV file, right, with an email, name, zip code, country, and phone number, for example, right? If you're missing any of those pieces of information, you won't be able to upload the data. And also, it has to be a minimum of 1,000 individuals in order for you to even actually use that audience to advertise to, or even create a similar audience from that, right? Now,
let me pause you there for a second. So this is called Google versus Facebook. So if there's any takeaways, just from a series perspective, 100 unique contacts to be able to upload on Facebook. 1,000 on Google.
Yeah, exactly.
In the last, no, those can be contacts from at any point.
Yeah,
right?
at any point in time, just as long as it's in a list, like I said, in the format that they require, and you'll be able to see that, within the platforms themselves to let you know. But a great thing about Google as well, it has the similar audience, so the similar audience feature, right? So it's, Facebook says lookalike audience. Google just has a different name for it. It's called similar audiences, and you could actually create similar audiences based on, for example, if we have a client that has, offers courses and he has a very good YouTube channel, and we created similar audiences based on his viewers, right? So he has a very good list of people who viewed his YouTube channel, and you could actually create those audiences. So you would need to create those audiences first within Google and then create the similar audience based on that. So but just a little nugget there, very important.
Yeah,
to keep in mind.
Facebook, lookalike audiences, Google, similar audiences. And so we had been talking about earlier about drawing out a customer profile, right?
Yeah.
And what that looks like from an age perspective or a demographic perspective, interests, behaviors, location. And so what a lookalike audience is, or what a similar audience is once all those variables and all that data is accumulated, what Google or Facebook will do is it'll go find people that check those same boxes.
Exactly.
And so it can really, it's a really powerful way to market.
It's smart targeting, really.
Yep.
Because Facebook's own settings, their own algorithm, it simply just matches information, and you don't have to really create any more avatars at that point. Obviously, you want to experiment at first. Like I said, if you're just getting started and you don't have any email list, you don't have any audiences, any contacts, you'll want to do what we talked about earlier, just creating from start, the customer,
cold
ideal
audiences.
customer, cold audiences, exactly.
So you've probably heard of cold sales. Advertising, it's the same kind of thing. Is you're interacting with someone that's never heard of your product, your business, your brand, your nonprofit, whatever it is you're advertising. So
definitely.
All right, awesome. I think that at this point, everyone should probably understand the importance of why you need to understand who you are advertising to and who your target audience is. We're advertisers, so we speak about Google and Facebook because that's what we do day to day. But really, in terms of selling to your customer or creating conversion or reaching your objective, whether it's raising money, whatever that is, remember to draw out your customer profile correctly and test those to really find that product market fit.
Right.
Because once you find that, it's going to be a lot less selling and a lot more just conversation and them naturally interested in what you're offering because they're the right person for it. So
definitely. Who are you selling to, right? So that's essentially your target audience, right? Who's your brand? Who, let's say, resonates better with your brand, right?
Well,
and just write that down and just, try to reach that individual. Right? I know it's hard to, it'd be a dream world for us marketers if we were able to show the ad at the perfect, time to the perfect person, and then they just buy every single time.
Well, I think that's the goal, right? So, in reality, what businesses do is they solve problems, right? And you pay someone to fill a need or solve a problem or do something for you.
Exactly.
And so, if you can hit them at the right time, and that's why this digital marketing stuff is so powerful, is because you can program it that way, right when someone's ready to kind of be interested in what you're offering. If you're not doing Google or Facebook ads and you're still wondering, does this stuff work? I'm seeing all these people talking about it on Facebook, making all this money, whatever. Don't look at it that way. Just look at it as Facebook and Google are able to collect data about individuals now, and you can use that information to get in front of the right person to help them.
Exactly.
And really to offer what you're offering for that individual. And so it really is a powerful way to market, very different than back in the day when you were throwing a newspaper out there.
Even billboards. We still see billboards nowadays.
Radio ads.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. We really appreciate you watching. We would love to hear your feedback. If you can leave comments.
Yeah, leave your comments below here. I know this is going to be a podcast, it's going to be a video, so on YouTube, leave your comments below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications for our future videos. So thanks a lot for watching.
Thank you for watching. Tune in next time.
See ya.
Bye.